All Good People Here is a thriller mystery about a young woman who happens to be a reporter and returns to her hometown to investigate an old case and a new case. So is this book all good? Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Spineless Books, your one-stop shop for all things audiobook. So I picked up All Good People Here when a friend of mine said she heard it had been a good recommendation, and I was looking for something new, and even though I have a TBR as long as both of my arms, I decided to just put this one on hold, and I was surprised to find it was immediately available, so I checked it out from the library and began. So the book follows Margot Davies as she returns to her hometown of Wakarusa, Indiana, to help her uncle who's dealing with some health problems. She is a reporter, and there was a murder when she was a young kid. In fact, it was her best friend. So she's, of course, got the baggage returning home of that huge loss and devastating history in her town. But right as she arrives to help her uncle, another young girl goes missing, and Margot decides she's going to investigate this case, and also kind of the old case while she's looking into this one. She believes right away that they are connected, although there's really no evidence at the beginning to prove them so. If you're old enough to remember the JonBenet Ramsey case, or you're just a true crime junkie, you will recognize a lot of similarities with this book. In fact, the author I have read was basing this on what she thought maybe would have happened in the JonBenet Ramsey case. But that doesn't really spoil anything because you kind of have that information right away. Now, one of the things to know about this book is that the town really actually acts as a character. There's a total vibe to this town. People are gossipy, they are cutthroat, they pull people apart anytime they get the chance publicly, but then they're also really helpful, supportive neighbors. So it's sort of got that Midwest nice vibe that you hear about where people are so nice to your face and kind of stab you behind your back. So I found that really interesting, the way that the town was portrayed and how it really becomes its own character. So much of the story is Margot doing her journalism thing. She's going around, she's investigating everything, she's questioning everyone, she's trying to not so much solve the case, but report on the case really thoroughly and maybe solve it if she's lucky. So here's my beef. I'm just going to be upfront and tell you, I don't recommend this book. For me, and for a thriller and a mystery, this book just had way too much everything falling into place quickly. There were a lot of moments where it's like, wow, I need this interview with this really hard to catch person. Oh, guess what? I got it on the first try and they told me everything. So I just felt like it was completely lacking any development, and there was nothing that was hard for this character, even though she's in this rough situation where she's lost her job and she's got to write this article. So to me, it didn't hold up and it didn't work as far as a struggle. It wasn't believable. It just all unfolded way too quickly, and I was kind of bored and didn't really care about our main character. That being said, it was interesting enough for me to finish it. There were some characters on the periphery who I found interesting, I found intriguing, I was wanting to know more about. I liked the structure of the story. It went back and forth between present day with Margot's investigation and the past where you learned many of the details that got filled in over the course of the story. It just was the way it was executed that didn't work for me. The writing was solid, the narration was good, but overall the book was kind of a dud. Speaking of narration, the book was narrated by Brittany Presley and Carissa Vacker. Now, I have to be completely honest and tell you, I didn't even realize I was listening to two narrators. They were way too similar in sound. It was very convincing that it was the same narrator, just sort of modulating their voice a little bit. So I kind of was a little surprised when I got to the end of the book and I listened to the credits and I heard Carissa Vacker as so-and-so and wait, that wasn't one person? So again, both consistent. They were pretty fairly even in level. Obviously, if I didn't notice, there were two of them. But if you're going to hire two different narrators to play two parts in a book, don't you think maybe they should sound a little different? I'm not really what I would consider like a lazy listener where I don't notice those things, but I actually really didn't notice that they were two people. I thought it was the same narrator, just sort of changing how they narrated. I would not read another Ashley Flowers book after this one. I understand that she hosts a true crime podcast and she's obviously an aficionado for true crime, but this book for me just lacked character development and it lacked motivation for me as a listener to care. This one was a definite dud for me. Is there a mystery or thriller you think sounds similar to this but does it better? I have to say I was disappointed, but the truth is I'm often disappointed by mystery thrillers. They just don't usually do it for me. They don't have twists that are big enough or surprises that are surprising enough. So again, I wouldn't recommend this one at all. But remember, you might love what I hate and hate what I love, so make your own opinion. But thanks for listening to mine. See you next time. Hope you like and subscribe.